Okay, I normally would say something about Raw when I do my SmackDown review. But I'm going to leave that to the end of this review if I don't forget. I'm hoping I don't forget. Because I got to be honest here. I was angry about what happened at Raw. And then I look at this SmackDown. It made me just as angry. Now, I'm sure other people will say, well, this wasn't a bad show. No. This SmackDown was almost on par with Raw. Because it made no damn sense. Why? And I'm actually going to use the name for that. Why? Why was this show the way it was? Why was Raw the way it was? And worse yet, why did SmackDown follow the same premise, the same formula? Let's go to the beginning. Was the segment with New Day okay? Alright. It was interesting to see Big E again do a split like he did on Raw. I'm not going to say that was great entertainment. It's very interesting to see a power lifter like Big E be that flexible, like pretty much like Booker T, who can do a split, or like the Rtruth himself that I'll mention in a few minutes. Pretty much. Seeing that was surprising. Once you get past the silliness, they did talk sensibly and to a level of respect, which was okay. Then we got the bar segment, which I didn't care about. Then we got the first of a few signs of people from Raw coming to SmackDown for no apparent... This is the thing that gets me. Why would you do a superstar shakeup and start showing the superstars on SmackDown from Raw now, which makes no sense? We got, and I'm just going to get this done now, we got Drew McIntyre, we got Lacey Evans, who has been going back and forth from both promotions, yes. But after what she did on Raw, it would make no sense for her to be there on SmackDown. It wouldn't. Then you got Sami Zayn, which was at the end of the show. And I think I'll get this done now. I'm doing the end of the show right now. 6-man tag. Drew McIntyre and The Bar versus New Day. It wasn't a long match. You didn't even get the opening theme music for any of them. None of them. Generally, they just came out. Well, I know you got a little bit of New Day, but you didn't hear The Bar, and you definitely didn't hear Drew's music. Just a little bit at the end. This show just made no sense. Then, even more interesting, you got Sami Zayn, another person who showed up. Sami Zayn comes out, holding a mic, everyone cheering for him. Everyone pretty much doing his favorite part of his theme. And he pretty much says simply, you're not worth it. Now, you would say, well, he's being a heel. Yeah, but here's the problem. He's being the same heel when he left. And he needs to work with Kevin Owens to make it work. He's acting like the heel he kind of was when he was with Kevin Owens before they got finally split up. And that just, I didn't care about it. Now the match was done, and it was Kofi who got the pin on Sheamus. It was all about Kofi getting the pin on somebody. And in the end, you got his kids get back into the ring. And I gotta say this. Unless that's a nickname for his wife, how in the hell did he nail a woman who's very beautiful? Chi-Chi. Unless that's a nickname, if that's her real actual name. That's a Dragon Ball Z name. I know there are women that can be called Chi-Chi. That can be considered a Spanish name or a mixed Spanish or Asian name or something like that. Just knowing that he actually nailed a woman with that actual name. I hate your ass, you bastard of a Kofi Kingston. I love him. He's good in the ring. He's good in the mic. He's good in everything all around. Like I said, he's good enough to be considered an A-lister. Like they said in his promo in the very beginning of the show about how he landed a woman named Chi-Chi is a shocker. But even seeing that's a feel-good moment, it made no sense for him to be doing that on Raw. Or on SmackDown. A tag team match on Raw, and now a 6-man tag on SmackDown didn't help him at all. Make no sense. Now, after the talk at the very opening of the show, we get a 6-man tag. Was it a 6-man tag? Yes, it was a 6-man tag. Shinsuke Nakamura with, well, there's no reason to talk about the heels because they didn't win. I can't stand that Aleister Black is working with Ricochet. I want to see Aleister Black by himself. Then you got Ricochet, who should be working with maybe Ali. Mustafa Ali, to my friends. Those two should work together and go into the tag team division, which I think would be the wisest thing to do. But you got Aleister Black, who should not be working with a Ricochet. Dealing with a Shinsuke Nakamura, dealing with a Rusev, and dealing with an Andrade CM Almost, and not calling him freaking Almost because it sucks. This meant nothing. It meant nothing. What did we get for these 6 men? Yes, we got to see Lana and Zelina Vega. 2 gorgeous women. And Lana was wearing a full, whatever that was. That was like something she got from, I don't know. Maybe Hulk Hogan loaned it to her? It really didn't seem to work with her. That was just me. The faces win, who cares? Here's the part I could not stand. Usos versus the Hardy Boys, which should have happened at WrestleMania. I'm not taking away from the guys who did that match. But WrestleMania should have been the Usos versus the Hardys. It should have happened. But I'm telling you guys this. I noticed something when it came to Jey Uso. When that match was going on, it wasn't that they messed up a moment. I can see in Jay's face. He wasn't happy with what was going on. I could see in his face before he even messed up. The minute zoomed in on Jey Uso's face, I knew there was something wrong. And guess what? The Usos' job to, well, I'm not saying it was a bad thing for the Hardy Boys to win the titles. They never won the Smackdown titles because both of them had left the company before they did the brand split at that time. So they never held the Smackdown titles. They only held the WWE World Heavyweight Championships. They never held the Smackdown ones. So this was new for them. But why wasn't it done on WrestleMania? Why? When you give the Usos this moment with the Hardys, brothers versus brothers, 2 teams of brothers going up against each other, not only seeing who the best tag teams, but who the best brothers. If you're built up saying that we're more brothers than both of y'all, at least we don't make sure we mess ourselves up. They could have gone down a road that would have been dark and would have worked. The Usos chewing out the Hardys because of their drug addictions. The Hardys chewing out the Usos because of how Rikishi, who both of them knew at the time when they were coming up, how bad of a father he was. They could have done something so amazing and they did nothing. They gave us this. And then worse. Like on Monday, when Kurt Angle comes to the ring, destroys a little bit, a tiny bit, of Baron Corbin, who is bragging about beating Kurt Angle. Lars Sullivan comes out, destroys Kurt Angle for no apparent reason. And again, Lars Sullivan comes out and destroys the Hardys. I know he destroyed Rtruth. I'll talk about him in a minute. He destroyed the Hardys, which beat the Usos where they should have jobbed at WrestleMania. So the Usos lost out twice. They didn't get the WrestleMania moment. Because it would have been better if they had the job. It should have been at WrestleMania doing a great match. It wouldn't have hurt them so bad to lose at WrestleMania. No, they lose at a SmackDown Live. And the team that they lost to just got the ass handed to them now to a Lars Sullivan that we don't even know if he's going to be on Raw or SmackDown. Now, let's move on to the dance break. The sexy Mela with Rtruth. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm very disappointed what they did with Rtruth and Carmella. They could have done so much more. When Rtruth had the U.S. title, they could have done a lot more with it. They could have easily done way more with it. So much more. But it didn't happen. It did not happen. It upsets me. And I think I messed up with Lars Sullivan thinking about Rtruth. Sorry. But it made me think of Rtruth. How badly destroyed he was. That's the reason why I thought about Lars Sullivan with you see I'm angry about what happened with the Hardy Boys. It reminded me of it. I'm going to say this. It was a touching moment seeing that Carmella said, you know what, working with Rtruth has been so much fun because I got to be myself. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Carmella. I've always said it 100% clearly. She's a manager, should periodically wrestle. And in this situation, she has become what she was meant to be. A manager that periodically wrestles. Admit like her or not, doesn't make a difference. She's falling in the role that she should be in. And people do like her to a certain extent because she's working with Rtruth, who is completely charismatic, who is highly inspiring. If you have not seen the Celtic Warrior Workout or Celtic Warrior Brave Change, you really need to go to YouTube and see his segment with Sheamus talking about living in a halfway house after coming out of jail and managing to straighten his ass out. That is inspiring. But this wasn't. Seeing that, it wasn't the fact that I was angry about WrestleMania and seeing that Samoa Joe destroyed a Rey Mysterio. He had a busted, I think either he has a broken knee or he's badly injured in his knee. He could not do a full match. He had to be destroyed. No problem. He comes out and he destroys Rtruth. Flat out. No problem. But then freaking Braun Strowman comes out and it was like nothing even happened when it came to Rtruth. What was the point of Rtruth? Why care about Rtruth at all if Braun Strowman comes out and fights with Joe, and now we got this rivalry with Joe, possibly with Braun Strowman, where you know either he's going to come to Smackdown Live, Braun Strowman, or you're going to have Joe go to Raw. Where does this leave Rtruth? People love Rtruth, and basically they made him a freaking afterthought. I'm sorry, that was stupid. That was freaking dumb. Here's another thing that was okay, but what happened to the one you need to have there? And that was Shane McMahon coming out talking about what happened with The Miz and his dad. Now, I would at least expect The Miz to be on a Titantron, saying, I can't be there, but I'm coming after you. I don't care that you beat me. I don't care what the hell happened. I'm coming after you, Shane. No. Whoa. My lights are acting funny. I'm coming after you, Shane. And the kicker for me was this. He talks about what happened. He talks about how his dad came into the ring and he was surprised about it and gave him a damn shiner. It's in my face. That was cool. No problem. But then he's messing with the ring announcer. I don't remember the guy's name. But what was the point of that? He did what he needed to do the first couple of times. But the thing that gets me, to try and show how evil Shane has become, why didn't he deck him? Why didn't he knock him down? Why didn't he slam him on the last time that he did what he did? That would have made better sense than just forcing him to constantly repeat. And then when he finally gets it straightened out his tie, and then he goes back to the ring. He should have decked the guy. He should have slammed the guy. He should have kicked the guy. And then he would have felt like even a more deadly heel. There he was just nitpicking. And I felt that was a waste of time. This show really aggravated me. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Okay, Bray Wyatt in that box and puppet. I didn't see it on Raw. I see it here in SmackDown. I hear him laughing and I didn't care. That shows how bad Bray Wyatt is. Let's go to the most disappointing thing before the Becky Lynch part. Iconics. Now the tag team champions. They actually pass by the Braun Strowman trying to shake his hand. They get into the ring. And I want to make this clear. Anyone who doesn't like the Iconics, anyone who hates the Iconic system, think they're stupid. I feel sorry for them. You know why? It's not about if they suck in the ring. It was Vince McMahon himself who said this when it came to Mr. Bob Backlund. When Pat Patterson had him, and he said, you can't do anything with Bob Backlund. He is so damn boring. He'll never get over. And Vince said, give him to me. I will get him over. And let's be honest, Bob Backlund does not have one of the greatest characters at that time back in the 70s and 80s. He was boring. But he got over for 4 straight years because they knew how to promote him. And I see the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay. It's not the point you think they can't go in the ring. It's not the point if you think they're not great on the mic. It's not that point. You could promote them properly along with the damn titles. And when it came to Sasha and Bayley, you didn't promote them at all with the damn titles. They stuck on Raw. They barely went to Smackdown. They barely went to NXT. And instead of having 1 week on Smackdown, let me back up. I'm so angry. You got them being on Raw. The next night Smackdown. Then go to NXT. Going from each individual part of the company. They could have done every week 3 appearances. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Trying to look for competition. Trying to make the titles mean something. And they meant nothing. So when the Iconics got them, even if it was Naomi and Ember Moon, or you could say Zelina Vega or Lana, it doesn't make a difference who it was. Because they have not promoted the titles and they didn't make the women seem relevant, this means nothing. And here's the kicker. They did it right. You got 2 heels in a Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, and they used jobbers from Brooklyn to try and get them over. It's not the point if the match was good. The match wasn't that great. The point is you got them at least to show they went up against somebody, and they're trying to show their heels. That was the best thing about it. But when it comes down to it, Peyton Royce is irrelevant. Billy Kay is irrelevant. Lana is irrelevant. Zelina Vega is irrelevant. Naomi, Tamina, Nia Jax, Ember Moon. Every woman on both the rosters and both brands mean nothing. Nothing. Finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Becky Lynch segment. Was it a good segment? Yes. Did people like it? Yes. Did I like it? It was good. But then, as I realized she was walking back, holding those titles, Lacey Evans had to come out. If it was not going to be Charlotte, who, honestly, I'd rather see Charlotte deal than Lacey Evans, it was Lacey Evans. The woman that has done nothing but show up, wiggle her ass in a tight dress, decks. The thing that gets me when it comes to Lacey Evans, I was not interested in her. Not because she doesn't have the look. Not because she doesn't have the ability. It's because of how she was promoted. Doing for months nothing. Nothing. She should have already gone in the ring, taught, and then she sets her sights on Becky Lynch. But no, we get her coming in and out for months, doing nothing. No in-ring segments, no promo segments, no wrestling, nothing except walking back and forth, being a freaking diva, boring diva at that, decks. She decks her twice. Raw the first time, Smackdown the second time, and this time the worst thing is, the man, Becky Lynch, takes that second hit, and this time she went down like a brick and could not get directly back up, like she did on Raw and beat the crap out of Lacey Evans. This time she can do it. This time she took a minute to get back up. That just shows how bad this show was. This show was awful. And if anybody thinks it was good, and I don't care if it was the Lexman, I don't care if it's JD 206 from New York, I don't care if it's the Solomonster, I don't care if it's OTR Central, this show was bad. Because it didn't help anybody. What was the point of the Superstar shakeup? If you're already throwing people onto SmackDown Live now just to show them, it made no damn sense to actually show any of these people. And if anybody thinks it did, how did it help anyone? Did this help Drew? No, it didn't help Drew at all. They just wanted an extra body in that match. Did this help Rtruth? No. Did this help Joe? No. Did this help Braun Strowman? No. It didn't help anybody. This show didn't help anybody. It was just as bad as Raw. But this is my point of view. You guys tell me below. Maybe I'm just angry about what happened in Raw. And maybe I'm missing something. Tell me, guys. I really want to know. Tell me what was the best parts of Smackdown that I should maybe review it and maybe reconsider. Because as I can tell it, this show sucked. It sucked ass. I'm sorry. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.